Let's speak to the president of CETAG, the College of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, Prince Obinhima, to also help us appreciate the situation or the problem from their perspective. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Is it a case that despite assurances and indeed being shown proof that the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Education have instructed the Controller and Accountant General to make to prepare your monies for you, you still went ahead with the strike, even though the NLC cautioned against same?
Good evening, sir, and then thank you for the opportunity. I just want to put it on record that the National Labour Commission Executive Secretary, Mr. Opusu Asamoah, is on record to have said it or granted interview last week, in which audio he mentioned that the government failed to comply with the orders of the National Labour Commission, and the Commission wasn't happy about that.
Yeah, I think he restated it earlier before you even joined. So he said government defaulted. Government was supposed to have done so it will reflect in your end of July earnings, but government failed. They only did so around the 17th of July, which meant that they couldn't process it for July. But there was the firm assurance, and indeed there were documentary proof to that effect that it would reflect in August. For that reason, they asked you not to go on the strike, and notwithstanding that you are on strike.
Indeed, if you look at the trajectory of events, and if anybody thought CETAG was just going to rely on assurances, where in time past we had been assured even by the sector minister himself that we should give him just 1 week to resolve the matter. We were on strike and we had to suspend the strike action, and the matter wasn't resolved. The negotiation in itself had to be taken away from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. So that is the drama surrounding the whole thing. It means it wasn't a normal thing. Under normal circumstances, the Fair Wages ought to have, conducted negotiation. But because negotiations that we signed MOU at the start of it to last for 6 weeks, stretched beyond 1 year, running to 2 years, and we have to complain to the National Labour Commission for them to compel to trigger compulsory arbitration, then it tells you that we were not just going to take assurances. The Commission in itself, in their ruling, was explicit that they should pay the conditions of service immediately. And then when the order came out on the 2nd of May, it wasn't like we should be given documents so that it will give assurances that they were prepared to pay. We have seen these things before. That's why when they were not paying, we wrote to the commission, we wrote to the ministry, we wrote to all the stakeholders who were involved. And back to our strike, the legality or otherwise of our strike, we actually took steps to write to the National Labour Commission at the beginning of the month, saying that if A, B, C, and D were not done, we were going to, which is in fulfillment of conditions that you need to meet before embarking on a strike. So around all those things, or around all those times, we were constantly updating them on development. So we are quite surprised because we expected the NLC rather to have gone to court to get orders to compel the government to pay, but not to rather get us to, compel us to go back to work and all the other things that are being said. Those are interesting. We do not want to preempt what will be the outcome of the meeting on Wednesday, but we are preparing sufficiently to go into that meeting confidently, and from what will happen over there, we will proceed.
You proceed with the strike, or you proceed and go to the meeting?
We will go for the meeting, but I'm saying that after the meeting, we'll be well informed to, as it were, take the next line of action. So we do not want to act on ifs. We are going into the meeting confidently, and after the meeting, we'll be well positioned to take the next line of action.
You did say that in the past. I mean, you've been here before where government failed to honor its side of the bargain. But this time around, you were shown proof that the controller was instructed to make the payments, only that the controller couldn't put his house in order quickly for you to have these earnings at the end of July. And the NLC says that in its letter to you, it attached proof of this instruction. which takes it a bit above what you've experienced in the past. Yes, still you went ahead and you're on strike. That's a gravamen of the NLC's concern.
My brother, I do not want to go into the details. Even the meeting we had where they showed those things that had come from the controller, the authorization and what have you that have come from the controller, they were full of errors. Things that were in there which were not part of the things we negotiated. We pointed those things out, and then they said they were going to correct those things and they will get back to us with a correct version. And here we are. So we do not just want to go into all those things. We are going into the meeting fully prepared, confident that we have a good case, and we are sure the National Labour Commission exists to serve rights to both employers and employees. And this is a test case for all of us to actually see.
The authorization contained errors which you had not bargained for, which means that the authorization was going to give you more money at the end of the day?
Oh, we saw that whether by accident or whatever it is, there were certain positions that had even been created which were not part of what we had in the original document or the things we negotiated for. And we all discussed and saw that, yeah, they were genuine concerns that we were raising. So they were going to work on those things and then revert to us. And, the whole thing is, it should result in payment. The documentation and all the things we are talking about should result in payment. That is what we are talking about. At the end of the day, the economy is hard. People continue to be on a SPY 2021 conditions of service. We are in 2023 now. So those are the things we should be talking about. Those are the things I believe we should engage our attention on.
I see. But notwithstanding all of that, end of August, the authorization is being made. You're going to have the money. And it's not as if what you will get at the end of August was going to be short of what you should have had in July. You are going to have it double, as in you have for July, you have for August. So it will only mean that payday might have come later, but still you have it, which means that your pockets for the month of August will be heavier, and that's more smiles for you and your house.
My brother, this is not the first time we have negotiated and is going to be paid. In time past, by this time, we would have even had discussions on the arrears that are to be paid, and people will be aware that maybe all the arrears are going to be paid, because we are talking about arrears from January 2023 to date. Initially, when we were even asking for arrears from 2022 January, and the NLC said government had no money, so what government could afford was 2023. We grudgingly accepted that. Now, what is the roadmap? Are we going to be paid the arrears? Are we not going to be paid the arrears? So you'll be there, and then you know you have received this amount of money. I mean, we should open frank conversation on this, and then every step on the way, all of us will be informed as to how we are going about it. So that
you only get to know this. You only get to know this when you go back to the table, and they invited you to the table. You couldn't make it, or you failed to attend. There's another meeting coming up on Wednesday, which you have undertaken that you would attend. It could not have been said to you in vacuum. You only get to know about that.
If anybody said that he has not been fair to us, we were invited and we sent a letter giving reasons we could not attend. So it wasn't like we failed to attempt. We failed to attend. We gave reasons why we couldn't attend.
I see. Would you be surprised if government or the employer is to exercise this option of not paying you for the period that you've been on strike because it deems your strike illegal? Would it be surprising to you?
We wouldn't be surprised at all.
You will not be surprised?
No, we wouldn't be surprised at all.
Really? But so yeah, you wouldn't have any qualms about it as well?
We had heard whispers from certain corridors that punitive actions were going to be taken if we went on strike before we even embarked on the strike. And these were the things that were whispered, that salaries will be frozen, appointments will be, what have you, we will be sacked. Those of us who are leading will be imprisoned. So if these things come up, and as union members, when you go into union business, you are fully aware that these are things that could befall you at any time. Let us for once know that the College of Education tutor is a key stakeholder in the teacher education. He needs to be given what he deserves. Not that we negotiate and then we come to ask for what is deserving of us, and then we begin to treat us this way. How do you say we should go and sign attendance, and if we don't sign attendance, we won't be paid, when that has not been part of our scheme of things? Which of the colleges, 46 colleges of education, have teachers been signing attendance? If it were something we were doing before even the strike, then one would say that, yeah, we were doing. So once you are on strike, let's go back and check. Because you go on strike, suddenly you introduce some of these things. These things do not solve, problems. We should be solving problems, but not to be creating problems. We are not very happy about the turn of events. But here we are. This is where we work. We need to fight to right the wrongs. And then if we do not even live to benefit from what we are fighting for, posterity will come and, benefit from it for the collective good of teacher education in Ghana.
Very well. Thank you so much. But before you go, is this call? Are you making this call conversant of the economic context we find ourselves in? Government is broke. Government doesn't have money, and they've asked all of us to tighten our belts.
We know, but in the midst of all that, everybody has got his conditions of service. So you cannot see that because government is broke, a group of workers should exist with our conditions of service. That is why, in all the conversations we've had, that has not been officially raised as a reason. Government is not ready to pay what they have to pay us, because we need to have conditions of service to be able to work. This is even the time we need to work harder and give the people what they need to be able to, work harder, so that we will come out of the economic doldrums that we all find ourselves in.
Very well. Thank you so much, Prince Obin Hima, President of the College of Education Teachers Association of Ghana. They are on strike. They have a meeting with the National Labour Commission on Wednesday. They said they would attend, and they said they will not be surprised at all if government is to freeze their salaries. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM.